Hi, I'm Matt from hockeyreviews.ca, and this is how to tape your goalie stick. And going to use a few things here, which is Pride tape, scissors just for cutting to make it easier, and crappy tape for the knob, so you don't waste this tape, which is kind of expensive. And this tape is really bad for blades; it rips apart really easy. So for a knob, it won't be an issue. I started with the knob already, but we'll talk about it later. So we'll just take a look at this, and I'm going to be taping my Infinity Goalie Exosphere stick. And again, thank you for Infinity Goalie for sending me this stick to do a review on, and you'll see more of it coming in the future. But anyways, so the one thing about Pride tape is that it's designed so if you do it the correct way, that the whole, like the one side of a blade will be one color, and then the other side, the back will be another color, and so on, so it will look well done. It won't work for goalie sticks because goalie sticks are taller, so that won't really work as well, but we'll work around it and we'll get a colorful result anyways. All right, so I'll just start off with the toe and we'll go from there. When I tape player and goalie sticks, I tape the toe in the same way, which is I'll put a layer on one side and basically wrap it around, do another layer, squish it all together, and then cut off the excess material. That way it's as smooth as possible. I've done the folds before, I just didn't like the creases that the fold created, and I figured if I can do it slightly better, why not? So we'll do this, and this is kind of annoying to do because I have a camera stuck in the way, so sorry if my voice kind of gets cut off there. So yeah, so what I do is usually just go along the toe itself and leave a tiny bit of overlap or overhang, as you can see there. We go around the other end, like this, and then we just make sure it all lines up. And there it is, and we kind of seal it off right there. And then we cut it. And then we can either trim it now or trim it later. It doesn't really matter. I usually just kind of start off trimming it. It makes everything a little easier. And this tape is hard to cut for some reason, so I have to use my right hand. Okay, so yeah, that way this is a nice seal right there, and it's all flat like that. Just squish down any edges, but yeah, we'll just trim this off. I usually do try to get as close to the blade as possible to make it as smooth as possible, but can't always get it like perfect. And sometimes when you do it too close, like I did, you get some of the tape off, but it's not a huge issue. That should be good for now. All right, so then we'll move on to the rest. Whenever I tape my sticks, I go toe to heel, and the reason that is so the tape itself is the higher, like the most overlapping is along the heel because the puck will run this way. So in my mind, that will make the puck not get caught up on the edges as much, and should theoretically make this tape last longer. You can do it any way you want. It's just the way I do it. Just the way I've always done it. And I don't really tape my sticks all that much, to be completely honest. But when I do, that's how I do it. All right, so what I'm going to do now is just go pretty thin layer, as thin as I can go, a little bit of an angle, and just have a bit of overlap, which we fold on to the other side. As you can see. And so we'll do a little bit of an angle because we will have to go towards the blade. And loop it on the other side. Make sure everything is covered. And then sometimes at the very end you'll get some excess, and again, all you gotta do is cut that off. Alright, so now we're back at the top, and then we pull it towards the blade on the angle. Again, just flatten everything out. Goalie sticks I find are kind of annoying compared to player sticks because of how long they are. But you can already see how the colors don't really line up in terms of evening out as you will. All right. And so yeah, so I'll just speed this process up so it won't take forever on camera. So since you can kind of see it with the yellow here and the orange, there is a little bit of overlap from the previous layer to the new layer. You can make this as thick as you want. For me, I basically try to make it as thin as possible on most of the stick. Now, it's not obviously possible towards the toe because it's more straight rather than angle, just because you're getting the toe all done. But for the rest of it, I do make sure there is just a little bit of overlap there. Like again, some people do more. It just add a little bit of dampening to the blade, but not much. But again, it's all personal preference. I try to use as little tape as possible when I do it, so that's just how mine end up. Another thing, when you are taping it around, just make sure you do a bit of pressure, so when you pull it, you're kind of stretching the tape a little bit. It just flattens everything out and makes it easier. So hopefully that's coming across. And then if you do have any bumps, you can just straighten it out with your hands or fingers, and it usually works pretty well. I have to say I'm a pretty big fan of this tape. I do support the cause, and I like the cause that it is doing. I didn't back it for Kickstarter, but I saw it come up this week last week when all the NHL teams were doing it, and I love bright colors, so it kind of just speaks to me in that sense too. And with a cause behind it, I figured why not. But yeah, so again, I'll be quiet for a bit until I finish this up and get to the next part. So here's the next part that kind of gets tricky, and that's when the blade kind of becomes when it joins with the shaft or paddle, sorry, because it's no longer like the same shape. You have to adjust just the tape, and some people do a sock, so it's like all the way around. I usually just go about one more, as you can see on the other side. Actually, you know what? Because that's so off, I'll just end it there. So we'll cut it back here. Put the excess back on, and we'll smooth this out a little bit. Now it's not perfect on the back, but I'll deal with it. So there's the front is again, so we just have to layer it down. Now some people will wax. I don't wax my tape. I don't find it that big of a deal. Someone can probably tell you if there's a benefit to it or not. It's just something I don't do. I also don't put a strip at the bottom. I found that for sticks that I did put the strips at the bottom, it didn't really protect it longer. The heel's still destroyed on it. So for this one, it has the bumper material right here. So hopefully that will make it last longer. But that's about it for the blade. I used to go up here, and then I figured I don't really use the puck with any of this, and it doesn't really matter. It's just a waste of tape and making it heavier. So that's about it for that. So there you go. Again, you can just straighten it out if you want. But again, my idea is the overlap will be this way, so puck will hit it and go like this rather than get here and get caught up on the tape. So we'll see how this lasts after a while. And again, you can always do some trimming of the pieces here if you want to. I don't really care right now. It's a goalie stick. It's going to get beat up for that anyways. But let's now go to the knob. When I was younger, I used to have this really giant round knob that would come down a bit, and I would basically twist the tape over itself so the sticky part would be out on the outside and on the inside for more grip. I found that when I'm older, I actually don't like that at all. I don't like having it gradually get bigger from down here to this big knob. I like just having an end piece. And the reason being is when I go to poke check or slide my hand up the stick, I just want to hit something and not rest on something, just hit something and stop, and that's it. This is how my player sticks are now. Well, a little slimmer than this, but it's basically the same idea. And so that's what I did for this one, is that I would just your hand hits it and it stops, and that's it. It doesn't matter. Don't have to hold on to the tape when you're shooting or anything like that. Basically, all I do for this now, and it should be pretty straightforward, and you probably already know what it is. I just grab the tape itself. I like to use 1 inch width. I don't like the thicker 1.5. I tried it before, and I didn't. It's not like it makes a huge difference, but it would just, to me, it looked odd just because of how big that 1.5 inches on the top. But yeah, so you just keep going around and around with the tape, just lining it up as best as possible. Again, this was really bad tape, and it's actually like, it was free like 6 years ago. So I just use it for the knobs now. But yeah, just keep going around, make it as big as you want. And then that's about it. That's all I do. Now, if you want to do something else, you can go ahead. For me, I never saw the point of buying Tacky Max or Sniper Skin or butt ends or anything like that for goalie sticks. And you'll never see me promote that for a goalie stick like this at the top. And the reason being is I would buy those grips for player sticks to protect my glove palms. My glove will be touching this maybe 5 minutes max an entire game. Not even. Like that's, I would say about a minute max of actually touching this. So I don't see the point of spending $30, $20 on a grip, or even Tacky Max are cheaper at like $8, but still, I don't see the point of that. As well as I don't like having your hand slide from the shaft itself up to a grip, because I find it would get caught on the ends of it. And I do have that happen with player sticks if I ever slide my hands up, which you're not supposed to, but just for some reason if it happens. But because of goalie sticks, your hands are always on the paddle and then sliding up the shaft to the end. I think that would get in the way a bit. So that's another reason why I don't like it. Now, because I want my stick to be colorful, because I like color, I am going to put one little layer of the Pride tape on top of this NHL tape. Just because, again, color, I like color. And I'm going to do maybe a bit more than one layer, just so we can get some more color on this. Because I don't want it all to be red, because I'm that picky. And in reality, I'm not usually picky for this stuff. I just put it on and go, but I figured this is kind of a special occasion, so we might as well do it. All right, so got some orange on there. Let's cut it. And then, oh, I gotta make that flat. I can't leave that. There we go. So there we go. We got some red and orange Pride tape on the top as well. And we did the bottom. And so that's about it. So thank you for watching this video. Hopefully it was helpful if anyone was wondering how to tape sticks. I get some odd questions here or there just based on what my preferences are of things. So hopefully this will cover one of those. Post in the comments what your preferences are, and if I did it totally wrong. Again, it's all personal preferences, but if you want to tape all the way up, go ahead. If you don't. But anyways, thank you for watching. Oh, one other thing is some people do tape their paddle here for added grip or for softening it up and dampening it. I don't do that. I find it fine with just the paddle like this, and I have no issue, so I just leave it. So that's about it. So again, thank you for watching. Like the video. And sorry, I hate doing this, but I always have to. It just helps me get more things like this stick to do reviews on. So like the video, subscribe to me on YouTube. All these links are in the description, by the way. Follow me on Twitter and on Instagram, and check out my website at hockeyreviews.ca. And again, thank you for watching, and take it easy.